Good evening, viewers. As you can see on the screen, we're going to look at how to use Google Forms and a Google Sheet to design a robust accounting and business model, that you can use for, things like Cashbook, that you can use to monitor your assets, maybe your asset register, that you can use to, monitor your accounts receivables, account payables for individuals and even for small businesses. Okay. A lot of people think that Google Forms is basically used for questionnaires and for surveys, and stuff like that. But there is a lot of other uses, other than for, filling in questionnaires and also for completing surveys. By far, Google Forms is very, very, very useful, especially when you link it with Google Sheet. So the forms could be designed in such a way that they will be used as an input, just like you have in your accounting package. You have a model for Cashbook, whereby basically what you do is just to fill a form, and then the data is collected somewhere. So the same thing here. You can design your Google form in such a way that it will capture data, and once data is captured, it could be analyzed using a spreadsheet. So you design your Google Sheet, link it with a spreadsheet, so that each time you make any entries, it will be captured in a spreadsheet as a database. And then those databases could be analyzed to generate reports. Okay, so let's get along, and then I will, I'll show you how to do this. It's very, very, very useful, especially for small businesses and also for individuals. So the outline will look like this. First, I'm going to introduce to you Google Forms, and I'm going to use Google Form to design a Cashbook template, which will be used to capture, of course, data on cash receipts and cash payments. Okay, then I'll show you how to link the Cashbook Google form, the completed Cashbook Google form, with a Google spreadsheet, okay, to capture data. And then in the next video, which will be later on, I'm going to show you how the captured data is analyzed to generate reports. Okay, so this is what we're going to look at. So please be patient, and then I'll take you through. Right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through the Google Forms. So for a lot of you, Google Forms will be a new thing, but it's, part of the Google package. So if you have your Gmail account, you automatically have your Google spreadsheet, you have your Google Word document, and of course your Google Forms, and so on and so forth, and many, many, many other apps that you can get for free. Okay, so I'll take you through the basics of Google Form. Okay, so in order to access Google Form, what you do is you have at least two ways. One is to go to your Gmail. If you open your Gmail, everybody knows how to open a Gmail. Okay, if you open your Gmail account and you go to the top you go to the top right corner. In my previous lecture on Google Sheet, I showed you how to do that. So you go to the top right corner where you find the 9 dots, okay, where you find the 9 dots. If you open the 9 dots, okay, you'll see, once you hover your mouse over the 9 dots, you'll see Google Apps, and then you click on the 9 dots, then you can select Google Forms from there, or alternatively, you can go to your Drive and then select Google Form from there. Okay, so after selecting your Google Form, this is the way it's going to look like. Okay, it's going to look like this. So that means after selecting your Google Forms, after going through your email, and then checking on the top right corner where you have the 9 dots, click on the 9 dots and select your Google Form, or you can click your 9 dots, select the Google Drive, and then from the Google Drive, you can click on the new button and then choose Google Forms. Okay, so that's one way. Then after doing that, this is what you get. So this is what you call an untitled Google Form. Okay, so this form is not designed yet, so you have to design it to your to your taste, right? So at first it will say untitled form. Okay, so the first part of the form says questions. Okay, so you will do your questions here. So in our own case, our questions will be the fields we want to enter on the Cashbook. Like, for example, the account code, the transaction details, the account description, the amount, and stuff like that. So those will be our questions. Then the second part of it is the responses. Okay, if users fill in, if the users fill the form, the responses or the data will be captured in the responses section. Alternatively, you can link it with a spreadsheet. I'll show you how to do that. Okay. Then the other part of it is the customization, whereby you can choose an image or a picture or your organization's logo to add to your form so that the design can look nice. And then you can use these background colors. Okay. Then after designing the form, you click on the preview and then it will show you the preview. Okay. Then you have the settings as well. So on the settings, you have general, that you could, limit your responses, or you could limit your response to one, or you could, limit it to multiple responses and stuff like that. Then on the other part, you have your presentation and then quizzes. Okay, for now, we're going to have a quick run to our main menus. And then on here, you have the send button. That is, if you want to share the form with someone, you can send it. And then if you want to make a copy, you can come to these 3 dots. You can click on make a copy, or add collaborators, or print, and so on and so forth. Okay. So we're going to build our form. So please watch out. This is very, very important. It's as if you are going to design questionnaire, but this time around, we're going to use it for business purposes and for accounting purposes purely. So we could call our form as, let's say, Cashbook, or LACA. LACA is land for consultancy, land for accountancy and consultancy associates. Okay, so that's my small consultancy business. So I'll call it Cashbook for LACA. So that's the name, that's the title. So once you do that, you just press the tab. If you press the tab, then the name will appear here, as you can see. Okay. Then the first question, as far as our Cashbook is concerned, the first thing we consider is the date. but the form is designed in such a way that the date will be done for you automatically. It will always, once users fill it in, it will always give you today's date, the current date. And of course, when Cashbook, when you are using it, you always enter, on the same day that's as the transaction occurs. So because of that, there is no need to do a date fill, because the date fill will be, the date will be captured for us automatically. So the next thing we do is going to be the transaction details. Okay, so the first question will be called transaction details. So we click on the untitled question and the type transaction details. Transaction details. So that's the first question. Okay, so you type your question here. And then on the right-hand side here, you have to say what type of question. Sometimes it will automatically guess for you what type of question you want. Because at the moment, once I do this, it says short answer question. Okay, so a question that will require short answer, and it will be in text. Okay, so the question will be in text. Now, at the bottom here, we have to state whether this will be a required question, whether, in order to submit the form, in order to complete the form, you have to answer this question. So we will say yes, because the transaction details is very important. So we will just click on the required button, okay? And this will be a required question. So that means you must fill in this question. You must enter the transaction details before you can submit the form. Okay, so one question done for us. One field done for us. The next field will be the account code. Okay, so the account code. So what we can do is we can duplicate this. We can come here and add a question, or alternatively, we can duplicate a question. Okay, I prefer duplicating. Okay, so I can just click here to duplicate. Okay, and look at it. This is the first question, and it has been duplicated here. So the second question will be account code. So I'm going to type account code. Okay, so I press tab. So the account code, I want it to be a number. Okay, I want it to be a number. Okay, so it will be a short answer, but then it will be a number, so that the account code can only allow numbers. So in order to do that, you come down here where you have the required button. So just click on the three dots and you say response validation. Okay, response validation. And the short answer text, the short answer will be a number. If you want, you can say greater than particular number up to. Okay, but for now, we're going to say it's going to be a number, a whole number. Okay, it's going to be a whole number. So our account code field, or our account code question, will be a short answer, but it has to be a number, and I'm going to make that also a requirement. So you have to answer that before you can be able to submit your form. Okay, so two fields done for us. So we move to the third field, which will be the account description. So the same thing, instead of adding a question here, I'm going to duplicate this. It's faster as far as I'm concerned. Then I'll call that field account description. A-C-C-W-N-T. I'll call it account description. Okay. So the account description will be will also be text. Okay. It will also be a short answer. Okay. It will be a short answer, and you can be able to type. Okay, so it will be a short answer. You can be able to type. I think for the sake of time, alternatively, you can you can say the account code, and then it will be, you can have an option whereby you can select from a pull down menu by entering the account codes. Okay, and here also you can also have an option whereby you can be able to select from a pull down menu or from a drop down menu. Okay, that's when you pre-populate them. Okay, but for now, we are not going to go into that. This is just the starting. I'm sure when you follow me with subsequent videos, we're going to show you how to do that. But for now, we're going to make it simple. We're going to keep it simple. So we're going to have the account code, which will be typed, and the account description, which of course can be typed. But the account description does not have to be a number, so you have to take this off so that it becomes a text. Good. So we go to the next field. The next field will be the amount. Okay, the amount. So we're going to duplicate this again and then call it amount. Yeah, we're going to call it amount, right? And this amount also, we're going to validate it so that it becomes a whole number. So I come here, I select response validation. It's going to be a whole number. Okay, it's going to be a whole number, right? It's also going to be a required field, right? So next, we're going to go to the field which will say whether the entry on the cash book is a debit or credit. This will be very useful for our analysis. So we do another question. Then we'll say entry type. We'll say entry type, and then the entry type will be a drop down. Okay, it will be a drop down. The entry type will be a drop down. So meaning we have to choose what should come under the drop down. So the first thing that will come on the drop down will be a debit, so that you can choose a debit or a credit. So the second one naturally will be a credit. So this will tell you whether it's a debit transaction or a credit transaction from a drop down. Okay, so this is another type of question that you have learned. So the entry type will be debit or credit using a drop down, and it will be a required field. Okay, good. So I think we are right. I think that's the last one. Actually, the last one should have been the balance column, but we are not going to put the balance. The balance column will be a calculated field on our spreadsheet. Okay, so when you follow me on the subsequent videos, you'll be able to know how to do the calculated fields on the Excel spreadsheet. Okay, so please, in order to enjoy from subsequent videos, please try and subscribe. The subscribe button is on the bottom right corner of the video when you open it on YouTube. So once you hit the subscribe button, the bell icon will come. So you click the bell icon and then you select the bell icon on top, so that every video that comes in, you will be alerted, and you can be able to watch and benefit from it. And of course, I'm going to welcome suggestions. I'm going to welcome suggestions so that we can be able to improve on our videos and also on our lectures. Okay, so before we complete the form design, we've got all our fields, and the fields are transaction details, account code, account description, the amount, the entry type. Okay, so we're going to add in some decoration of the form, because it will make it look attractive. Okay, so in order to add in a picture on the background, then we just click on customize theme. So I click on customize theme, Then where it says choose an image, I just click on choose an image. Okay, so you can use the current images that are available by the system. Alternatively, you can go and take a photo. You can upload a photo. So by clicking on the upload, and then you say browse. Okay, and when you say browse, you can choose the photo. Right. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to use the current themes that are here. Okay, so we're going to choose one of them. We're going to choose one of them. As you will just choose any of them. Let me just see the one that looks a bit appealing. Okay. So I will use this one. That's the green one, nature. So once you click on it, it will say insert. So click on insert. Look what's going to happen. Look at it. Then see it has inserted and it has given you a very nice, background. Okay. So this is the way you can add a picture, a logo, or any other design that the system has. Okay. So the form design, it's not completed yet. I'm going to show you how to, add in a spreadsheet file to capture your data. And then after that, we're going to view the form, and we will stop here until next lecture. All right. So in order to link this form, this Cashbook form, okay, or this Cashbook model to a spreadsheet so that if you enter any data, it will be captured in that spreadsheet. Okay, so what you do is you come to the second part of the form, which says responses. So you click on responses. Okay, you see a Google Sheet icon here, a spreadsheet. Then you can say your responses will automatically come here. You'll be able to see them here. But in addition to that, you want your responses, that is, if entries are made on the Cashbook form where you want them to be captured, you can just click on create spreadsheet. Okay, so if you had an existing spreadsheet that you want it up here, you can just click on this and then you select this existing spreadsheet. But since this is new, you could just say create a new one, and it will give you a default name which says Cashbook for Laka in brackets responses. So I just say create. So once I say create, I'll show you how that works. Once I say create, it will be created for me. It will be created for me. And I'll just show you. Okay, it will be created for me. And the spreadsheet will be created for me, as you can see here. So this is the spreadsheet that has been created so that it can be used for the responses. So the spreadsheet says Cashbook for Laka responses, as you have seen when I was describing it, and it has got these fields. Timestamp, I was telling you about the date. There's no need for a date. Once you make entries, the date and time will come here automatically without you doing anything. The transaction details, as you can see on the form, will be captured here. The account code will be captured here. The account description will be captured here. The amount will come here, and the entry type will come here. That's a debit or credit. And then you could link this to other sheets whereby you will do your analysis. You could use your pivot tables. You could use your pivot charts. You could use your sum if and your VLOOKUPs to do your data analysis. This guy is the limit. So once you're done with the design, it's just a question of cashiers or whoever are going to do the entry will do the entry. Everything will appear here, and then the report will pick it. But like I said, in my subsequent pictures, please look out for in my subsequent videos on this series. Please look out for it later. I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do that. In the meantime, we're going to look at how we're going to how the form will look like. We're going to view the form. We're going to view the form that has already been designed. We're going to view it so that you will see how it will look like. And in the next lecture, I'm going to show you how to, populate data, how to enter data, and the populated data, how it can be analyzed. Okay. So in order to view the form, as you can see, this is on edit mode. Look at it. At the moment, it's on edit mode. Look at it. It says questions, responses, and then it has all this. Okay. If you want it to be data entry mode, you have to come and click here. Look at the eye. It says preview. Okay. So once you click on preview, another file will open for you, but the same thing, but this time around is going to be in a preview mode. Okay, so I'm going to show you that in a minute. If you preview it, this is the way it's going to look like. Sorry, not this one. I'm going to stop doing this. So if you preview it, this is the way it's going to look like. Okay, this is the way it's going to look like. Okay, as you can see, this is different from the previous one. Okay, because it didn't even have the submit button here. So now you can see the form is nicely done for you. Then you could enter your transaction details, your account code, your account description, your amount, and the entry type. The entry type, you have to select that from a pull down menu, as you can see. So once you click on the pull down menu, you can be able to select either debit or credit. Okay, and as you can see, because I was moving, it's saying that this is a required question. So that means you cannot move, you cannot submit without filling them in. Okay, you cannot submit without filling them in. So this is where we're going to stop today. Like I said, please consider subscribing to my channel and ensure that you bring in your comments if there are any, so that we can improve on the channel. So the channel is definitely for accountants, for trainee accountants, for auditors, for accounting students, and even for managers who deal in data. Okay, so please consider subscribing by hitting the subscribing button if you open the YouTube video at the bottom on the right side. Okay, on the right side. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this this video, and thank you so much for having me. Please don't forget to join me on my subsequent videos, especially on this on designing templates, on designing mini softwares using Google Forms and Google Spreadsheet. Okay, this is very, 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 very important, especially for accountants, especially for managers, and even for private people. How to call it? Business people, who run in small enterprises, even medium enterprises, they can be able to use it. Okay, so and in case you need some services to develop one for you, feel free to contact me. The numbers have been mentioned on the slides. That's in the Gambia +220 767 0910 +220 767 0910, or on my email. The email is also at the start of the lectures. Thank you so much for having me, and have a good evening.